next film, Hitman, Agent 47. And I don't have a red tie, so maybe I could special effects this, I don't know. Kind of look like one of your teachers, don't I? Hitman Agent 47. When I first started watching this film, I was thinking, this kind of looks like the Terminator, but it's a genetically enhanced human being trying to track down this girl, trying to kill her. And it was so much like the Terminator at the beginning of this movie that for the first time ever I was thinking, why don't I just walk out? But I can't picture myself ever doing that because I'm too cheap to throw away the ticket. So it started off really slow, really lame, but then it surprised me. It actually started to develop a plot and a storyline, and the main character here, the assassin, the genetically altered human hitman, started to have a family, a life, a passion, a set of goals, a self-determination, a self-awareness, and he actually experienced and produced love. Because the girl that he was after turned out to be his sister from his genetic experiments in the past, where they were developing fetuses to become genetically enhanced human beings. Now, the story is about a man who researched into creating genetically enhanced human beings and then trying to create the super killer, more or less. And I guess he didn't want to do it anymore and he took off and disappeared. Well, the two teams that were tracking him, one was the hitman who was working for an agency that wanted to capture the scientists and continue with the progress of the program because they kept failing at it. Although I don't think they failed too much because they did produce other hitmen that were quite extraordinary in what they could do. This particular man was after this girl to save her, but also find the creator, his creator, because these genetically enhanced human beings were from the point of conception. They didn't really say it, but I guess they were made in a test tube and somehow gestated in a jar of some type, or maybe an aquarium. But he eventually finds the girl, but she is being protected and captured by the alternate people who are looking for this girl. But the hitman eventually captures the girl, takes her away, and it's from there that the storyline about his past and him being a little kid and her being a little kid. And as it turns out, he follows her because she has clues as to where her father is. He informs her that she's also a genetically enhanced human being. When they finally catch up to the father, he tells his daughter that he had actually genetically enhanced her as well, which explains her movements. I mean, we pretty much have guessed her bizarre movements meant that she was genetically enhanced too, but she had no barcode on the back of her head or anything. Anyway, eventually the two teams meet in a building in Singapore, and there's this big fight in the end. And the scientist decides to protect his daughter and end the experiments by blowing himself up after he takes off in a helicopter as a prisoner with the competing firm, you could call it. So then there's this big battle. After that happens, there's another of the assassin who can't die shows up again. There's this final confrontation. The hitman takes him out to protect his sister, I guess you would call her. And until he meets up with another hitman who's his genetic clone, so you think. Now, if the ending of this movie is cut off, so you know there's a gun battle taking place, you just don't know how it's going to end, unless you stay through the credits. If you stay through the credits, you will find out that it ends with the hitman and the girl making it and leaving the scene, and the clone, so you think it's a clone, actually laying on the floor. It's actually a genetically enhanced human being that acts as a chameleon. He takes on the appearance of those he wishes to take on the appearance of. In this case, he took on the appearance of the hitman in order to attack him. But he lost anyway, because like I said before, that lab is producing hitmen who are quite successful, but not as good as the ones that the scientist's father guy had produced. This has got kind of a bad review from the critics, but yeah, initially if you're watching this movie, it's pretty crappy, but then it draws you in, and then the story, as the story builds and you start having a feelings relationship with the hitman and the girl that you think he's supposed to kill, but he's actually rescuing. And as it all comes together, you're actually start off being against the hitman, and then you become on the hitman side, and you get involved with the characters, and yeah, it works out in the end. It starts off crappy, but you'll like it in the end. I would say that as far as being video game-ish, the way the hitman operates, yes, but it's only very limited. There is a funny scene in this movie. The hitman has a tendency to sleep sitting up and have his Colt 45s beside him. He has two of them, and he goes to sleep, and well, there's this apartment scene, and they're coming back to this, I guess it's a hotel room, and the hitman, he's getting ready to go to sleep, so he's putting his coat in the closet, and he has a little package there that he puts with his coat, and she wants to know what she thinks is a bomb. She says, "What are those bombs?" And he goes, "No, it's mothballs, because he really likes his wool coat. He doesn't want the moths to eat it." That shows not only humor in this situation, but it draws you into the character, really liking this character. And then, as usual, he sits down in the chair, puts his 45 pistols beside him, and goes to sleep like that. While he's sleeping, the girl picks up his guns. She has a tendency, when she can't sleep, that she needs to take things apart and see how they work. It is completely hilarious, because other hitmen break in while he doesn't have his gun, so he has to dispatch them with a knife or knives. But this is a really funny scene. I would recommend this movie if you're into assassination type films. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.